So I'm decided I'm going to do these individually for the last 3 episodes because there's just too much craziness happening now. Holy shit. And I was right, like a lot of the other internet.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and this is my episode 7 spoiler review for WandaVision. Like all of these videos have been, this is a spoiler warning. I am going to spoil the crap out of this. For these last 3 episodes, I've decided I'm going to do individual videos for them just because they're, they usually run a little long, and we're getting down to the end of the season, and all of our answers are finally being revealed. This is the first MCU television series, and I think it has been a banger. I think it has been fantastic. I've loved every episode. I'm kind of on the edge of my seat for most of these episodes too, because I want to make sure I get every single little tidbit and information, Easter egg that they want to drop down in these episodes. And this episode is no different. This is episode 7. This is our it seems like our last television themed episode. This is the opening of this episode is very much inspired by The Office and Modern Family, and it's Wanda basically giving herself a mini vacation. She admits that she went a little overboard when she expanded the Hex. So this episode is all about breaking the fourth wall. She's talking directly to the camera. She's admitting that she's kind of losing it. She's losing control. The boys are definitely seeing a lot of this stuff happening as well, but the focus on this episode is pretty much on Wanda specifically and how she's basically losing control, and we get a lot of major reveals in this episode. We jump back and forth like we've been doing for the last episode or two between what's going on within the Hex and the real world. We get the fallout from Darcy and other SWORD agents being brought into the Hex when she expanded it as well. Vision kind of has a lovely little team up with Darcy, helps break her out of her pre-programmed role in WandaVision, and she basically unloads the entire backstory of Vision's life before Westview. It explains that he was an Avenger, he was killed by Wanda and then brought back by Thanos and then killed again, and kind of really just brought him up to speed with, what he is and where his life was before Westview and why Wanda is doing all this stuff. We also finally get confirmation of who Agnes is towards the end of the episode. I kind of called it, and a lot of people called it online too. But Agnes is revealed to be Agatha Harkness, who is another sorcerer and someone who has been pulling a lot of the strings and the mischief behind the scenes. It's a really cool reveal. I was so happy the way they revealed it. They kept it in line with what they've done throughout the entire series. They go back through all the little episodes, and we get to see her little mischievousness on full display. And is it the worst kept secret? Kind of. But they did have me second guessing her role in the series in an episode or two, and it was just really well done. I was really happy about that. Another really great reveal that I was super happy about that they did in this episode, that we finally saw Monica unlock her powers. She was able to meet up with her guy, which was kind of a letdown, if I'm going to be honest. There was all these speculations about who her guy was going to be. Was it going to be Reed Richards or Stu Storm from the Fantastic Four? Was it going to be Hank Pym? Was it going to be anybody? It was just some other SWORD agents. Woo. Great. I mean, that's fine. They kind of brought this rover for her to try to infiltrate the Hex, but the Hex was rejecting it and started to alter the structure of the vehicle that she was using to try to break in. She had to escape before she got sucked in, but then she realized she could break in on her own, and she took that risk and went into the Hex. She had to force herself in, and there was a lot of great little over-voiced dialogue. Basically dialogue from her younger self and her mother from Captain Marvel. They would just reuse dialogue from that movie as well. And, basically you hear Carol Danvers' voice saying, when they were handing out kids, her mom got lucky because she's the toughest one of them all. And she unlocks her mutant powers, which is like energy based and kind of like she can see all the spectrums of energy, which goes in line with her comic book powers, being that she's the superhero known as Photon, and also has been called Captain Marvel, and a slew of other names. But she finally has her powers, and we get a little taste of it when she confronts Wanda, trying to get her to snap out of it, so to speak. And that's a really cool confrontation. You know, Wanda does not like Monica. Obviously, she feels that she's an invader in her space, but Monica, laying down the law, is like, I'm here to help you. And this is also after the information that Darcy uncovered in the previous episode finally got to Jimmy, and they know that Hayward was trying to rebuild Vision to bring him back to life to begin with. So the whole reason Hayward's been tracking Vision in the Hex is because he wanted to rebuild him. He didn't want to honor his wishes. You know, Hayward's a dick, plain and simple. I knew something was up when they cut to Agnes looking out the window, seeing that Monica was confronting Wanda, trying to help her snap out of it. So she obviously intervenes to kind of break up that communication. Wanda continues to threaten Monica, but Monica doesn't want to give up. Agnes pulls her into the house. The boys have disappeared because the boys went to Agnes's house to give Wanda a day to herself. And as Wanda is looking for them, you know, it gets very horror-esque, where, you know, Agnes says, you know, they might be in the basement playing. So when Wanda goes down there, it definitely doesn't look like a normal basement. It looks very witch's den. And then we get our big reveal that Agnes is actually Agatha Harkness. From the comics, she was a sorcerer who helped train Scarlet Witch and even helped raise her twin sons in the comics. Has ties to Mephisto, so I'm still leaning on that Mephisto nightmare train. Really think we're going to get that reveal in these final 2 episodes that we have coming up. I'm very curious to see what Vision's mental state is at this point, with Darcy kind of revealing, you know, all this information about his life before. But the one thing that she did want to hammer home is that the love between Vision and Scarlet Witch is real. And she feels like they really do belong together. And I think that was really important for her to say. And hopefully that plays into Vision's decisions. Title of your next MCU project. I really hope that that plays into the finale and his decisions on, you know, what's best for Wanda, even if it might hurt in the end. It's definitely, I think this was the last sort of TV themed episode. I think we're getting into that big blockbuster MCU finale that we were promised. We also got a little stinger at the end of the episode where Monica is trying to get into Agnes's house and runs into Evan Peters, aka Pietro or whoever, which is revealed in the little montage of Agnes revealing her powers and her manipulation, that she was the one manipulating Pietro in that, you know, at that little stinger at the end of episode 5 when he appeared at the door. She's definitely the big bad. But I still think she's a puppet for someone even bigger. I'm not giving up on that Mephisto nightmare possibility, especially if you're doing Nightmare for the Doctor Strange sequel. It's got to be Nightmare, right? It's got to be Nightmare. Overall, this episode was pretty straightforward of a lot of the episodes. We're getting towards the end, so there's not a lot of, you know, mystery, wishy-washy stuff. We're getting a lot of these big reveals. You know, Vision finally understands his life before Westview. Monica is fully powered up at this point, so she's ready to go off to Captain Marvel 2 to raise some, you know, to do some damage in that movie as well. And I think this was a smart way of using WandaVision not only to further the story of Vision and Wanda and these characters and give them such a really amazing television experience to really flesh out their characters even more, but also used it to introduce a brand new superhero and go through all the origin story, the powers, everything, and just completely set her up for being in a sequel for another character and not feel completely weird. We even got a story set up at this point with her sort of resentment towards Captain Marvel. So that's going to be interesting to play out, as well as now her having powers. And actually, you know, she's probably going to, I don't think her and Wanda are going to go at it. Honestly, I think it's going to boil down to something more so. She's going to help Wanda break out, and it's going to be her, Wanda, Vision, and Darcy trying to find a way to stop Agatha and whatever her goal is, having Wanda do the things that she does. Wanda is still the person who is kind of the villain of the series, but she even kind of calls it out where Monica told Wanda, like, don't let Hayward make you the villain. And Wanda's like, what if I already am? I do feel like we're going to get some sort of little redemption for Wanda, but it's definitely not going to look good for her in terms of her public perception going forward, because I'm sure unless they wipe everyone's mind, people are going to remember this shit. And it's not going to be all great for Wanda, because everyone sees that Wanda was the one doing it. All the people in town know that. They don't know about Agnes or Agatha. It's Agatha. They don't know about her, and I think that's the whole point, is to make Wanda seem like she's the villain when she's just broken. And that's, it's sad. It's a sad story. At its core, it's a very sad story. It's about someone not able to handle so much devastation and loss, and instead of handling it in a healthy way, you kind of handle it in a not so great way. And that's going to have long-term ramifications. And that's one of the great things about what the MCU has done, is that they can have these sort of ramifications that have ripple effects across multiple movies in time. And, who knows where it's going to end up. But I think this episode was really great. I'm glad we got Monica to the point where she has her powers now. I'm glad we finally get our reveal of Agatha Harkness, and we're really getting into that end game, so to speak. We're really getting into those last two episodes, and I think they're going to be great. I'm super excited for them. I was really happy with how this episode played out. I was also happy I didn't see too much of Director Hayward, because, again, if anyone needs to get their comeuppance besides Agatha, it's that motherfucker. As that douchebag needs to get his. And it really sets up, I don't know if it sets up Sword as a potential antagonist or just him. Hopefully it's just him, and that we can get Sword to be some sort of ally for the MCU and not as much of a pain in the ass, like how S.H.I.E.L.D. ended up kind of being towards the end. But we'll see what that happens. Those are my thoughts and kind of my spoiler review for episode 7. I think it's the title, Breaking the Fourth Wall. But that's my spoiler review for episode 7 of WandaVision. So hopefully you have seen it. Hopefully, your theories, if you were on the same page as, yep, that's Agatha Harkness, let me know in the comments down below. Or if you still don't think Mephisto or Nightmare are coming at the end, let me know what you think. If Agatha is the big bad, or if we've got another little tease for some other cosmic being. I feel like we do. I really feel like we do. And I'm super excited, and I hope you're excited as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Let me know if you do like this more individual episode breakdown compared to the dual episode breakdown. If this is a little bit more easier to digest, let me know in the comments down below, because I can take that into the next MCU project that we are getting, which is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I will be doing spoiler reviews for that when that drops in March after WandaVision wraps up. So let me know if you like me to just do individual episodes, or if you don't mind the dual episodes. Let me know those in the comments. I really do appreciate that sort of feedback. You can follow me on all the social media listed at the end of this video. I've got a ton of videos on the channel that you're more than welcome to check out, and I highly recommend checking out. Pretty please, that would be great. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, until next time, I will catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.